Today I will discuss about an important chapter of class 9, that is weathering. Actually, we divided the geometry process into two types: exogenous geometry process and endogenous geometry process. So, what is exogenetic forces? The force coming from the deep within the earth surface due to the variation of temperature is called endogenetic forces. These endogenetic forces causes horizontal and vertical movement of the earth surface, and due to which major landforms of the earth surface like mountain, plateaus, plain, etc. are formed. And the exogenetic forces are act above the earth surface. They are mainly formed due to the variation of temperature and humidity within the atmosphere. The main exogenetic agents are wind, running water or river, glaciers, etc. are the main exogenetic agents. The major landforms of the earth, mainly produced by the endogenetic forces, are modified by the exogenetic forces which acts above the earth surface. And here we discuss two important terms: degradation and degradation. What is degradation? Degradation is the process by which the exogeneric agents decrease the height of the high altitudinal lands of the earth surface. Or we say it in other ways, the process by which the high elevated landmass are decreased in height is called degradation. So degradation is related to the process of erosion. Degradation is related to the process of erosion, and the erosive materials are deposited in the low-lying areas of the earth surface, and the altitude of low-lying areas is gradually increased, which is called degradation. So what is degradation? Degradation is the process by which the altitude or height of a low elevated area is gradually increased due to the deposition of erosive materials by the exogeneric agents. And by the combined process of degradation and degradation, all the exogeneric agents form a common level on the earth surface, by which the unevenness of the earth surface is removed, which is called gradation. So gradation is the combined result of degradation and degradation. Due to the combined process of degradation and degradation, the uneven land surface of the earth is converted a almost plane surface. This almost plane surface is produced by the degradation and degradation, and this process is collectively called gradation. Here, weathering, erosion, mass wasting and erosion. These four are the important degradational exogeneric process, because these four processes are mainly responsible for the decrease of the altitude of the land surface. At first, I discussed weathering. Weathering was first coined by G.K. Gilbert. G.K. Gilbert first coined the term weathering. Weathering is the disintegration and decomposition of rocks in their place of origin, mainly due to the elements of weather like rainfall, temperature, humidity. These are the elements of weather, and by the excess of these elements, while the rocks are disintegrated or breakdowns or decomposited. Decomposited means change in the mineral composition of the rocks. then we call this process weathering. So if it is a rocks and these rocks are disintegrated into small blocks of rocks by the action of the elements of weather, like the heat of the sun, heat of sun due to the excessive pressure, and finally due to the elements of weather, rocks are disintegrated and they are situated just near the parent rocks. And according to W.D. Thornbury and famous geomorphologist, he defined weathering in the following ways. Weathering is the disintegration and decomposition of rocks in place. According to W.D. Thornbury, weathering is the disintegration and decomposition of rocks in place. It is an in situ process, or weathering is a static process. Weathering is a static process or in situ process because the disintegrated rocks are situated in their place of origin. They are not transported from one place to another. That's why we call weathering is an in situ process or a static process. Controlling factors of weathering. The nature and intensity of weathering is not same everywhere on the earth's surface due to some factors. The main factors which influence the magnitude and nature of weathering are: number one, nature of rocks. Nature of rocks. Nature of rocks, we know every rock is composed of minerals. Some rocks are composed with a single minerals or a particular minerals, and we call it homogeneous rocks. Whereas some rocks are composed of different types of minerals, we say it heterogeneous rocks. So the mineral composition of rocks, the layering system of rocks. Some rocks have vertical joints. These are the vertical joints. And some rocks have horizontal joints. The rocks having vertical joints are less affected by weathering, are more affected by weathering than the rocks having horizontal joints. So the mineral composition of rocks, the joint pattern of rocks, the layering system of rocks greatly influence the nature of weathering. For example, homogeneous rocks like granite is mostly affected by the exfoliation. Exfoliation, one of the important process of mechanical weathering, and this process of mechanical weathering is prominent in granite rocks. It is a homogeneous rocks. But in case of heterogeneous rocks, the rocks composed of different types of minerals, the process of granular disintegration is more prominent. So this is the influence of rocks on weathering. Climate greatly influence the nature and magnitude of weathering, particularly two important elements of climate, rainfall and temperature, greatly influence the nature and magnitude of weathering. For example, in the humid tropical regions where excessive rainfall occurs and temperature is also very high, in these places or in this region, humid tropical regions, the types of chemical weathering is more prominent there. In humid tropical regions, chemical weathering is more prominent because of the availability of water and due to the excessive temperature, the process of leaching and the solution of rocks is very active there. That's why chemical weathering is dominant in humid tropical climate regions. And on the other hand, if you go to the arid and semi-arid region where the diurnal range of temperature is maximum, diurnal range of temperature is maximum, arid or semi-arid region, in arid and semi-arid region, the diurnal range of temperature is maximum because the temperature is very high during the daytime and temperature is very low during the night time. Due to this diurnal variation of temperature, repeated expansion and contraction of rocks leads to the mechanical disintegration of rocks. That's why in the arid and semi-arid region, mechanical weathering is more dominant. Mechanical weathering is more dominant. Seasonal variation of climate also greatly influence weathering. In our country, we experience monsoon climate. In monsoon climate regions, during the summer season, mechanical weathering is more dominant because temperature is very high, and that's why mechanical weathering is more dominant during the summer season. But during the wet monsoon months, where rainfall occurs, at that time chemical weathering is more dominant. So from this discussion, we find that a particular type of weathering is prominent in a particular type of climatic region, and also the magnitude of weathering. Magnitude means how faster the rate of weathering, thus the magnitude or intensity of weathering is also determined by the climatic factors, mainly the rainfall and temperature, and it also affects the soil formation. As the rate of weathering is greater, that's why the formation of soil is also will be greater, which greatly influenced by the climate. And number 3 is topography or slope of the land. Slope of the land. It is the steep slope and it is the gentle slope. The topography or the slope of the land also greatly influence the nature of weathering. Actually, the mechanical disintegration of rocks, and after the disintegration of rocks, they move from the higher elevated area to the lower elevated area due to the gravitational pull of the earth, which is called mass washing or mass movement. And this mass movement or the mechanical disintegration of rocks is greatly influenced by the topography or slope of the land. It is stated that the region having steep slope is easily affected by the mechanical disintegration of rocks than the region having gentle or moderate slope. So, topography or slope is also important factors of weathering. Number 4, vegetation cover. Vegetation covers also controls the weathering. Vegetation covers acts two important roles. In one hand, it protects the soil and rocks from the erosion by the exogenous agents, and on the other hand, it also activate mechanical weathering. Actually, the roots of the plants penetrates into the soil and make a great pressure within the rocks or within the soils, and due to which rocks are finally break down into molar blocks of rocks. That's why the mechanical disintegration of rocks also occurs by the penetration of roots of the plants. Not only this, but also the weathering or biochemical weathering is an important type of weathering. Actually, weathering is classified into three types: physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biotic weathering. Biotic weathering is the disintegration and decomposition of rocks by the plants, animals, as well as by the human beings. So these are the important controlling factors of weathering: the climate, the nature of the slope or topography, the vegetation cover, and these are the important factors of controlling factors of weathering. Now I discuss about erosion. What is erosion? These are the disintegrated rocks and these disintegrated rocks were transported one place to another. এটা খুব বাধ্য করে সলভ করতে হবে এখন হবে এখন বাদ বরাবর দেবে মানে বুঝতে পারো তো মানে হ্যাঁ এই জায়গাটা হ্যাঁ এটা থাকবে না না এই কোশ্চেন একদম ডায়গ্রাম লাগবে। Erosion is the process. In this process, the disintegrated rocks or the weathered rocks transported from one place to another place by the exogenetic agents like river, wind, etc. This is called erosion. Next, mass wasting. Mass wasting or mass movement means the downward movement of soil and rock materials along the slope of the land due to the gravitational pull of the earth. Actually, the movement of soil and rock materials along the slope of the land by the gravitational pull of the earth is called mass wasting. And due to the mass wasting, the disintegrated rocks are deposited in the foothills of the mountains. These depositions are called scree. The deposition of such disintegrated rocks on the foothills of the mountains are called scree, and when they are deposited in a conical shape, then we call it talus cone. Actually, this is occurs due to the expansion and contraction of ice in the high altitude area or in the high mountainous region, and finally the rocks disintegrated, and due to the mass movement, these disintegrated rocks move downward and the slope of the land, and they are deposited in the foothills of the mountains and then form scree and talus. So mass wasting is the downward movement and detachment of soil and rock material under the influence of gravity. And last of all, denudation. Actually, the term denudation is derived from a Latin word. The term denudation is derived from a Latin word denudere. Denudere, that means to strip bare. To strip bare. Actually, denudation is the process by which the upper part of the land surface is eroded by the combined process of weathering, erosion and mass wasting, and the underlying rocks exposed. So we can set it in the following ways that denudation is equal to weathering plus erosion plus mass wasting. So the removal of the top layer of the earth surface by the combined process of weathering, erosion and mass wasting, and the exposition of the underlying rock layer is called denudation. And it is the degradation. Degradation is the deposition of the erosive materials in the lowland area of the earth surface. Thank you all. In the next class, I will discuss about the types of weathering, about the physical weathering and the process of physical weathering.